Our next guest, R. Derek Black, actively promoted white nationalism as a child.
Their father is a former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, but after attending college, Black eventually renounced white nationalism and now works as an anti-racist. Their memoir, The Klansman's Son: My Journey from White Nationalism to Anti-Racism, is out now.
And R. Derek Black joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You talk about how in that world you don't necessarily hate Black people. What exactly is the mindset of that person?
I think I tried to distinguish racism, just people with racist beliefs, from the white power movement itself, because that's a movement where maybe tens of thousands of people have a very clear sense that they're a part of the same movement, and they have goals, they have politics. Some of them are violent, some of them want to run for office, but they all have this revolutionary idea that's for sure based in white supremacy and based in racism, but that it's something more, it's more difficult to understand than just average racist beliefs. And I think that's what I was trying to emphasize in the book.
You have this amazing story about when you were 10 years old and you went on it was the Jenny Jones show. I remember these shows that they used to have on Jerry Springer where, I don't know if it was your father was on the show and then they brought you out. Talk about that experience. It seemed to be very transformational for you and it's burned in your memory.
It was. I was 10 years old and it was the first interview I had ever done with my dad. I grew up in Florida and people came over to the house constantly throughout the 1990s when I was little and would interview him. And I genuinely started wanting to do it with him. As a 10-year-old, I believed in the ideology, and I said, I want to help talk about it too. And we actually came to Chicago. It was at the NBC Tower in the Loop, and I was 10 years old, and it was in this massive studio. He arranged that I could do an interview separate because it was one of those daytime talk shows where people yelled at the people on the front, and I was 10 years old and I was just terrified of it. And I didn't actually go back and watch one of those videos of that interview until I was writing this book. And when I first did it, I couldn't even watch it. I had to get a friend to transcribe it for me because it was just horrifying to watch myself at 10 years old doing that.
So, and this has become a growing problem. Are people like your dad, are they fearful of others, or are they afraid of losing something, or is it that they make them feel inferior?
I've thought about this a lot, and I have come to the conclusion, because I had the experience myself of leaving this ideology when I had grown up in it, but I also believed it. I realized that it is not just hatred. It's not just a sense of inferiority or superiority. It's also the fact that they grew up in a world, mostly in the South, but also across the country, where they viewed so much racial inequality. And some people choose anti-racism. Some people say we need to change that. We need to change that inequality. And other people look at it and don't want to feel like they're responsible or like they are receiving something unfairly. And then they choose to try to justify the world around them. And that's exactly what I see white nationalists and racist beliefs in general, is just trying to justify unfairness and try to make it seem okay.
Quickly, before we let you go, what turned it around for you?
It was a community. It was a community of people who did something. They all did something. I was at a small liberal arts college, and I thought that I could live two different lives. I could have this community of people who were genuinely threatened by this ideology, not tell them anything about me at first, but once they did find out, some of them said I needed to leave, some of them reached out, some of them talked to me, but over years, I came to recognize just how ridiculous and flawed and fake really this belief system was. And then I was left on the other side that in this world we all have to do something.
Well, it's a fascinating story. The Klansman's Son, available now wherever books are sold. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.